now. We've been doing just fine, and life is good. Okay, life is really good here in the USA, and especially, and I have to do this because I tend to go off the rails sometimes with, the whole God is dead and the war's begun when things start going bad. Okay, but I find if you concentrate on what you have instead of what you don't have, if you concentrate on the good, and if you concentrate on the potential to do more good, you will succeed on some level. You will definitely succeed on some level, at least on peace of mind, okay? And peace of mind spelled P-E-A-C-E, peace, okay? Peace, brother, that type of peace, not piece of pie peace. But peace of mind is everything. It's everything. And if you concentrate on the good and keep yourself in that happy place more often than not, and if you're smiling most of the time, isn't that kind of what it's all about? The icing on the cake, the garnish on the plate, the mustard on the sandwich. That's the money, the house, the vacation, the car. But that's not the life, okay? If you work harder, you can make more money. If you work still harder, you can make still more money. If you work really harder, you can make really a whole lot more money. That's just how it works. If you want to work less and enjoy life more, you can do that too. So you can do whatever you want. It's your choice. It's kind of like Priceline. Name your price, okay? That's how it works in the United States. It really does. And like I said, I find if you concentrate on what you have and not what you don't have, life is good and you will have success on some level. Now, getting back to conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories be damned, in my opinion, because for whatever reason, the good old days to me, the good old days are now. They're today. They are as we speak now. Things are better now than they've ever been in this country. Yeah, they really are. And I will debate you until the cows come home on this, okay? But it seems like the bomb throwers, the hate mongers, the dividers, the anarchists, they tend to get the headlines, which is why I just dismiss them. Because as I've said many, many times, I do not suffer well the folly of fools. I didn't make that up. I picked that up off of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock Holmes did not suffer well the folly of fools. And he was a smart guy. Fictional, but smart guy. I, too, do not suffer well the folly of fools. But some of the stuff that I've read recently has just, most of it's just, it has me scratching my head thinking, what in God's name is wrong with people? And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of just the hate mongers who actually base their hate on conspiracy theories. Case number one. I actually saw an article and read this article of this woman, and I'm not gonna lie to you, she caught my eye because I'm scrolling through a particular e-publication, and here's this very attractive young lady, just super pretty. You don't even want to say hot because that's different. She's just pretty, attractive, nice smile, nice eyes, nice, just, she's the person you want to be your waitress. She's the person you want to meet on the street. She's the person you want to be your friend because it's just everything about her just screams of pleasantry. If I had to guess, she was probably 30 years old, well-dressed, nice smile, light-skinned African-American, okay? And the article had to do with the color of her skin. And I thought, okay, I'll read this. Pretty girl has an opinion. I'll listen to her. And within the first 3 sentences, I was shocked. So much so I had to finish the article because I couldn't believe what I'm reading. Light-skinned black lady. And she calls herself black. That's her opinion. I am a black person. I don't care if my skin color is light. I am black. Okay. Sure, you can identify as that. If that's what you identify as, I'm good with that. But she calls her skin color rape-colored skin. I'm going to repeat that. She defines her skin color as rape-colored skin. And she says that's because the reason my skin is not blacker is because way back in the slave days, the white masters raped my family and made my skin color what it is. That, friends, is a bizarre statement. She doesn't know that, but she accepts it as truth. Now, maybe it was true. Maybe that's exactly why. Maybe back in her family tree, she just had people from other parts of the world. Maybe if she came from an African background, maybe she came from East Africa, from Ethiopia, or a place where black people's skin is not as dark as, say, Nigeria. Maybe some of her relatives came from other parts of Southern Africa, where people's skin is not as dark as, say, Western Africa, like Nigeria. Maybe lots of things. Maybe because her family has been in this country for so long, the melanin content in her skin has just deteriorated over the years. Who knows? But to say her skin is the color that it is because when her family was slaves, they were raped by their masters, that is bizarre. And then she went on to continue about how that just continues, and this is just the proof that the United States is a horrible place because that's what we base our country on. That is bizarre. That is a conspiracy theory that will poison your mind. Case number 2. U.S. Representative Cori Bush. She unseated Lacy Clay in the 1st District of Missouri. And Lacy Clay, either him or his father, have been in that 1st U.S. Representative District since the middle to late 60s, I believe. So for what? Let's do the quick math. 30, 50-something years, the Clays have been in charge of that seat. Well, they were unseated by a lady named Cori Bush. Cori Bush is one of the squad. Her term, not mine. A self-proclaimed member of the squad. And she talked about Independence Day. And and this is according to the New York Post article, she dismissed Independence Day as a holiday meant for white people. And she claimed, quote, "This land was stolen land and black people still aren't free." And then she goes on. When they say that the 4th of July is about American freedom, remember this. The freedom they're referring to is for white people. No, actually, you're wrong. It's not for white people. It's for all people. Bush went on to say that, talking about the Juneteenth holiday, which is now a holiday, okay? She said the Juneteenth is now a federal holiday, and we need to push more for reparations for slavery and defunding law enforcement. Really? So you want to take the police out of black neighborhoods? That's going to help. I will quote. Ms. Bush says, it's Juneteenth and reparations. It's Juneteenth and end police violence and the war on drugs. It's Juneteenth and end housing and education apartheid. It's Juneteenth and to teach the truth about white supremacy in our country. Black liberation in its totality must be prioritized. If those aren't divisive words, I don't know what are. Here's something to think about with Cori Bush. She earns $175,000 a year as a U.S. representative. That's what they get paid. I don't have a problem with that. It's a hard job. Okay. And a lot of people say, well, they shouldn't be paid so much money. Yeah, they should. It's a hard job. And if you do it right, you're worth $175,000 a year. And the people elected her. Now, we'll see if they reelect her when the time comes, a year and a half from now. But in the meantime, she is their representative. They said, look, they voted overwhelmingly in the general election to have her as their representative. And she talks like this. And she makes $175,000 a year, paid for, by the way, of the taxpayers. So she takes that $175,000 a year and tells the people who pay her, you're horrible. That, friends, is bizarre. It's bizarre beyond reproach. Now, do we have a dark history in this country? Absolutely. The whole Juneteenth thing, it was a real deal. And even after the slaves were liberated, I think it was a long time before black people had real representation in this country. They didn't start having representation in this country starting in 1865. The whole, and do we need to concentrate more on that? Learn more about the wrongs that were done to black people by racist white people? Sure. I mean, the whole Oklahoma, or was it Tulsa? Oklahoma City, Tulsa? Tulsa, I think it was. Where they took the affluent black neighborhood and white people just burned it down and killed people. That was 100 years ago. I was never taught that in school. Should have been, because that's a part of our history. Should have been taught that. Should be taught that. Now we're concentrating on that, which is a good thing. Okay? But to do as Cori Bush is saying, it's just being divisive. It's just being divisive. And it was a guy on MSNBC, which I'm reading the article. I don't watch MSNBC or Fox. I don't watch any of that. Basically, he tweeted, F Independence Day. Except for, he didn't say that. He said F-U-C-K, Independence Day. Not only are we not free, the whole reason the colonies wanted independence is because Britain was moving towards abolishing slavery. Why would black people celebrate a day so wrapped up in enslavement? That's ridiculous. We did not want independence from England because we wanted to keep slaves. That's just ridiculous. It's a lie, and it's ridiculous, and it's divisive. Let's move on. Marjorie Taylor Greene. You've heard of her? You should have heard of her. She's the anti-Cori Bush. She's the yin to her yang. She's the whack job for the right. Okay? And what she's spouting is just as dangerous as Bush. It's all this divisive, us against them. We need to make sure the man doesn't step on us. And she, too, is a U.S. representative making $175,000 a year. And she said on July 4th, and I quote, I don't want, and this is according to WCIA television in Phoenix. Or in Effingham, Illinois, I'm sorry. I don't want anybody in this country to depend on our enemy, China, who sent a Chinese virus that was made in a lab that's a bioweapon, not only to our country, but all over the world. And people died. She has no evidence of any of that, except for the and people died part. Now, it looks like the virus came from China. It does. Real good chance it was made in a lab. No evidence at all that it was a bioweapon. But people are dying. You can't make statements like that without repercussions. And the repercussions are people who voted for her believe her, and they take this as gospel. And it's just hateful thinking. She did at least admit that people died from the coronavirus, okay? Then later on, She encouraged hundreds of older voters to resist the life-saving vaccines that were proven to be society's best weapon at fighting the coronavirus infection, hospitalization,